Hello and welcome back, everybody, for another exciting match in the Ori All Skills Tournament. Tonight we have a really fascinating match, but join with me for commentary on this next match is none other than Rufus. What's up, man?
Hey, Cobra Muffin, how are you doing, man?
Dude, I'm doing swell. And so tonight we're going to have Fan versus Poogle, and I guess both of our runners met in group stage before, right, Rufus?
Yeah, so this is not their first time meeting. They met before. Fant took the first one, and I think since then, both runners have seen a lot of improvement. We've actually seen both runners PB within the last couple of days, including an unrecorded PB, I believe, by Fant that was just earlier today. So both of them, I think, are playing on top of their game. They're both ready to put up their best, and I think Fant hoping to put up his best, and Poogle to maybe take some revenge from the group stage loss.
Hey, that's so exciting, Rufus. And looking at the stats in the bottom left, we have this nice graph that's going to show that Fant is favored for this one. But that being said, these stats are for only the matches that the runners have played so far in the tournament. And so because you mentioned this great point, Rufus, that our runners have been practicing a lot recently, doing these crazy PBs. Look at that current PB differential. It is less than 3 minutes. That is so insane. This race definitely has the potential to be a crazy.
Yeah, and we're just coming right off the back of that last exciting race. So I think this is a race that's promising also to be an exciting one. So excited to see how both players perform and to see what they can bring to the table.
Yeah, and here we go. We have some extra flavor stats as well on the bottom. Fan has been helping with the production of the common commemorative coin. Look, reading is hard, man. I can do English. And so if you didn't know, Fant and Richard and I think a few others put together this project of getting these really epic looking coins and then just mailing them out to everybody. And I have mine here right on the desk. And to decide who's going to win, let's see. I'm just going to flip it. Tails is Poogle, heads is Fant, and it looks like Poogle is going to be running away with this one.
All right. Yeah, that should be exciting. And you kind of see there on Poogle's side as well, the little comment about how many matches she's trucked. I think both these players have been really involved in the back end, helping with trucking, with commentary and such. And so both of them are players that are really involved in the tournament and I think really loved by the community. So I think it's going to be one of those ones where if either player wins or if either player does really well and puts up a good race, we're really excited for them. So it's exciting in that way as well.
Yeah, for sure. And Fant has been around in the community for quite a bit longer, but also Poogle has just been tearing up the leaderboards with this improvement, and it looks like our runners are ready to get started underway. If this is going to be your first Ori tournament match, and you're sort of confused who's going to be in first or whatnot during the race, don't worry about that, because in the bottom of your screen, you're going to see these skill wheels that will fill up with the skills as they collect them, and then also those emblems that mark first and second place. And so those will be switching as runners get underway here. With that being said, Fant's going to be on the left, and Poogle is going to be on the right. Here we go.
Yep, and they're both going to be heading down to get signed. I believe both these players will be kind of going through the same route throughout the game. So you'll also be able to kind of track who's ahead and who's behind in that way. Even though as speedrunners, they're not going to be necessarily picking up all the skills in the intended way you get them on a casual playthrough. But both players so far, obviously, you wouldn't expect anything different at this point, but with very clean movement and making the way up to get signed.
Yeah, for sure. And we definitely shouldn't see any too much of a huge race differential in the early game unless they take an unintentional death, right? Like at the beginning of the last race that we just shoutcasted, one of the runners took an early death and lost like 15 seconds or so from that. But if barring one of those incidents, both runners should be within a couple seconds of the other heading this initial area.
Yeah, and that could keep up even up until dash or double jump as well. So it's kind of, I think both these players, at least for the early game, are really similarly matched. So I wouldn't expect too much of a differential at this point.
Sure, yeah. Fan having a tiny bit of a cleaner Frankie fight there is going to be able to get out of there a little bit first. But wow, nicely done. Poogle is going to nail a one-frame jump, whereas Fan just struggled with a bit of that. So just a tiny bit of differential here and there from both of our runners. And Poogle has to watch an animation for a pickup, whereas Fan was able to jump off the flower pad before that ended up happening. So Fan just eking ahead very, very slightly.
Yeah, a little bit of a troll there by the flower pad. It's not something that you have a huge amount of control over, so that can be kind of annoying, but it's not a big deal at all, especially with the amount of time that you're able to save in later parts of this game. Just a couple seconds here or there at the beginning of the game, isn't something that should throw our runners too much off their kills.
Yeah, and upcoming here, after they get past Ghost Door, they have the option of collecting a 4th health cell. And accidentally not being able to get past the slime, that's going to get Poogle a little bit of room to catch up in. But it'll be interesting to see if Poogle opts for the 4th health cell here. In group stage, she shied away from it quite a bit. But in her last race, she ended up picking it up. And she decides not to, so Poogle is going to end up being on 3 health for quite a good distance in this race. And this used to cost somewhere upwards to 8 seconds to 9 seconds, but now it only costs a lot less than that, because we actually end up skipping clean water at the end, so we need to collect extra health cells. So Fant is going to be looking like he is quite a bit further behind in this early game, but that room is going to be made up in the end.
Yeah, it is kind of, like you said, a little bit of an artificial lead. But at the same time, you kind of see both players managing their experience there. Poogle able to get the level up on the way down. Fant not quite having experience, so he'll just be able to grab the 2 experience on the way up and level up that way. But in that, both have with a pretty solid wall jump time coming in here, and they're both making their way through.
Yeah, for sure. And so it looks like our runners are going to be hitting wall jump. Poogle is going to hit the tree first, and then Fant is going to be following close behind as they head up to collect their 2nd energy cell and head back upward.
Yep. Before they do that, they're going to grab this, like you mentioned, the energy cell. That's to help with the Frankie walk trick that comes up here in a second, which requires 4 energy to get through a door. With that energy cell, that puts both of them at 2. So when they get the level and refresh, that'll put them back up to 4th, in case when you see that a little later, if you're wondering kind of what's going on. So that's an important part of the route that obviously both players are going to take at this point.
Yeah, Poogle getting past Trojan Log and Fant matching her pace for pace, able to get Trojan Log first try as well. That log is not actually a log, and it can be very, very trolly, so nicely done. Getting out of there very quickly now. Both of our runners getting through. Fant taking an extra damage boost there, so he's going to be a little bit lower on health than maybe he wants to, but that's totally okay because he got that 4th health cell, so he's going to have that little bit of buffer room coming into Blackroot Burrows, which Poogle has to be a little bit careful in these really stressful sections, right? Because in Blackroot Burrows, there's lots of things that deal 2 damage, that deal 1 damage. It can be very easy to take an unintentional death through this.
Yeah, it sure can, and it is one of those things that I think that's really interesting. These slime or these brambles you see them breaking right here. Sometimes it's hard to notice how many health stones you get as pickups there. So a lot of times you'll see them check their UI there as they go to turn it on to do the save anywhere, anyways, and so that way they can know how much health they go in. But you feel a lot better having 4 health going into Blackroot, but it's not too much of a problem since there is a level up that you get towards the beginning that will put you back up to full health.
Yeah, true Shay. And at that intentional level up, looks like both of our runners are going to be grabbing the 100 EXP orb, but we also see our 2nd differential in terms of routing for our runners. Poogle actually ended up picking up Quick Flame. So Poogle is going to be doing a magnetless Frankie walk, whereas Fant, opting for the safety of Magnet, is going to be able to get up there a little bit quicker. But with Quick Flame, if Poogle is able to get past magnetless Frankie walk, this is going to open up opportunities for her in the mid game to be able to save time here and there, just being able to kill things slightly faster. Because of course, as we know, as being speedrunners, Quick Flame is going to add an extra attack. Poogle at 1 health though, she cannot take another damage as she's heading through this section. Saves are not going to be healing our runners yet because we do not have regroup ability.
And you see her kind of taking a second there to make sure that she doesn't go too fast into the laser cycles and just decides to, once she gets up to the top, put down a save, reload to make sure the platform cycles the one she wants to cast. So she loses a little bit of time there as opposed to Fant, who just made it up quickly and got the platform cycle without the save and reload.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And wow, Fant just narrowly dodging a spike there. If he had gotten hit, he could have gotten knocked down the platform and been sent all the way to the bottom, but nicely done. Good footwork from Fant, as Poogle is going to be collecting another 12 experience and heading up. Looks like the cycle is going to be good for Poogle. We're going to see exactly what happens in the next room to see if our runners correctly manipulated these platform cycles. And so they are pretty much synced at this point. Poogle is going to get on, and so is Fant. Nicely done from both of our runners.
Yeah, so both of them able to get that cycle, and you kind of see on Poogle's side how she's pulled up her experience. She wants to check that out, especially with Magnetless, kind of how you mentioned earlier. It's one of those tricks where it makes the experience manipulation a little more important here at the early game because it's easy to not get the full experience from the Frankie when he dies. So she's going to, I believe in her route, she takes the 15 experience coming out on the way out from dash, and she'll use that to be within just 6 experience, which will make it easier for her to front walk. So both starting their save anywhere here, and they're going to save and reload after placing down this orb, and that's to skip the cutscene and get to dash a little faster.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy because Poogle was also on 33 experience on entry, so she was able to skip 2 of 3 slimes that are really in our way getting through Blackroot Burrow. So very impressive play here from Poogle and Fant. Both of our runners are at dash tree, but this is going to be huge because Poogle has to pick up that 15 experience orb, which is going to play an animation. So even though Fant taking the early 4th health cell was able to claw back a lot of distance in this early game section. So really nicely done. Poogle with a safety save here. This is a nice decision, just heals her up, gives a little added safety heading into the Frankie Walk area because it can be very, very easy. And nicely done also Poogle killing a slime to grab 3 experience. So now she's only 3 experience away from leveling up. Fans, a little bit of struggles here with the Frankie Walk, has to go back and re-aggro him, and Poogle with a little bit of a cleaner start to the Frankie Walk. But both of our runners are pretty much neck and neck at this point.
Yeah, they sure are, and kind of like Poogle gained a little bit of the time there that she lost by getting that experience and saving at the Spirit Well in order to with the cleaner Frankie Walk. But both of them going to be coming up here and getting to this energy door roughly the same amount of time, and then you'll see them get their level up, which will bring them back up to full health. But remember that Fant does have that 4th. Oh no! And Poogle got a little eager there and is going to kill herself to bring her back to the Spirit Well, as she died before she was able, or as she wasn't able to get the experience going into the energy door.
Yeah, this is tough because Poogle has to pick up the 15 experience orb again and watch that again. So it's not just having to do Frankie Walk again, but just having to do that. This is definitely not what Poogle wanted it to start her race with tonight. But that being said, we still have a lot of worry left, and maybe just this extra duration of Frankie Walks is going to allow her to cool down. And Fant, even though he had a 0% success rate coming up to this trick, he was able to get a fast grotto cycle. That is an 8-second time save, and Fant raising his average. Nicely done. That is a really different.
Yeah, Poogle this time setting up, see if she's a little more careful to get that experience before moving on. She's able to get through her door, and she's going to going through her death gauntlet. Fant on the other end put down a ghost door, and now he's closing on double jump. He'll put down a save there and start his blind movement. So looking back over to Poogle's side, with that quick flame, she's able to clear out those brambles a little quicker, and she's about to grab this extra energy, see if she puts down a safety save, and she's past this area. So no more having to go back to the dash tree.
Nicely done. And so Fant now is going to be working through, does a pretty good job with the blind movement. It's not quite optimal, but he did get the distance, so he's going to be saving most of those 5 seconds, maybe not the entire time save, but that was still really good. Fant just having a really great first part of Moon Grotto, so we're going to see exactly what he does coming up to this grotto skip. And taking damage there isn't a problem because now he has an ability that's going to allow him to heal every time. Looks like he's going to be entering this area with a 21.4% success rate coming in the tournament, and he gets it first try, Rufus. Wow.
Yeah, really seeing a lot of improvement as compared to his previous race times here with Fant, with getting the grotto cycle, which is it's not I can't overestimate enough how hard that trick really is, even though it doesn't look like much. And him going in with 0% and be able to get that, and then improving his grotto skip as well. So awesome job by Fant.
Yeah, what an impressive play from Fant's early game. And Poogle just dashing under a Frankie in order to get to double jump tree. Nicely done, taking a death there would have sent her all the way up back to the ghost door area. And so really nice save from Poogle. That's very impressive to be able to react in that manner. But Fant, having a bit of a clearer lead here, having a little bit cleaner execution, but then also just that Frankie Walk mishap from Poogle, getting her a bit of time loss, but she is going to be now heading up to her own attempts at Grotto Skip, where Fant was able to get it first try. We're going to see if she can also match suit.
Oh, no. Yeah, taking it up, but fortunately, being wise enough to kind of place a safety save down there, it's you pick up another energy cell here, so it's really no time loss to place the extra save there. So knowing that it is a little bit of a risk, deciding to put down that save and saving her from a much bigger time loss. Fant on the other side making great work coming out of Moon Grotto, and you see him going up towards this next ability cell.
Yeah, that's awesome. And this movement here from Fan is a little bit tricky, and we also saw Poogle getting first try Grotto Skip. That is just absolutely so impressive. That trick is so difficult, and especially because Poogle has not been running this game nearly as long as a lot of our other veteran runners. Just seeing her nail that really difficult trick first try is so exciting. That is really excellent. But Fan is going to be entering Ginso Tree first, as he collected the Thornfelt Swamp Teleport. We're going to be using that a little bit later on. And now Poogle is going to be collecting Water Vein, hot on his trail.
Yeah, you really just see that Fan is just really on fire here. His best time and his PB is that 13:16. And here he's going to have a sub 13, a sub 12:50. So he's really on a great pace going into the Ginso Tree.
Wow. Yeah, Fan, I don't know what Fan is doing right now in terms of timer or watching the restream, but he must know that he's on pretty heckin' good pace. It feels really good to nail that first 13 minutes of the speed run. And so he's going to be entering Ginso Tree with a lot of confidence, I'm sure, right now.
Yeah, and I think he's just playing really well. I think he's kind of gotten in his groove and is just able to kind of perform and do the strats that he has practiced. So Poogle on the other end, getting that experience, that's a timed level up. That will allow her to kind of clear out that frog that was in the way, and then she'll make her way up, going to use this bounce pad to get up and kind of do a funky little wall jump here to get up, as we saw Fan do.
Nice, and she got it. That's another pretty tricky and precise set of jumps. Fan heading up to a switch puzzle now where he's going to be moving around a block in order to move some projectiles around. Not too difficult, but upcoming here is going to be a mini-boss, and so we're going to see if Fan can grab that really fast 5 cycle that we see our runners attempting to grab, but it's definitely not as easy as it may seem, especially in a race scenario. So we'll see exactly what happens here as he goes in, as Poogle now is going to be entering Ginso Tree as well.
Yeah, and do you know if Fant does scroll wheel shooting or how he does with the mini boss?
I'm not sure, but it looks like his pacing is still going to be really, really good heading into the mini boss. And so far he's been matching it pace for pace to be able to be on track for this fast track, and also the boss is giving him good positions. Oh, he's just gonna have to wait for one more to deal 2 more damage in order to finish that out. Still a great mini boss kill from Fan, and he's going to be able to progress on towards Bash Tree after collecting 4 more keystones.
Yeah, that's right. And that was a fight, like he did a great fight, and that's actually one of the areas you're going to see Poogle be able to have a little bit of advantage because she did offer that quick flame earlier on. So it meant she had to go for that magnetless Frankie walk, but the trade-off is that she's able to shoot 3 flames instead of 2 at a time when she goes up to do the mini-boss fight.
Yeah, and it looks like even with that quick death there, Rufus, like at the Frankie walk and having to redo that entire thing, Poogle able to shake off a lot of the nerves and just have really clean, methodical play in order to get through this section. It's really great to see her be able to work through this, because nerves in a tournament match definitely can play a huge factor, especially in these movement-based speed games.
Yeah, and we got an updated truck just as you were saying that at Bash, Fant is now 32 seconds ahead of his people.
What?
So doing really good from him there.
That is insane. This is exactly the start to the race that Fant wants in order to be able to make a statement here in the bracket stage. And of course, because I believe both of our runners, this is a lower bracket match, and so this is an elimination match. And so having this clean of a start from Fant definitely is going to give him a lot of momentum heading forward into the last, I don't know, 18 to 20 minutes of the race.
Yeah, and I always like to kind of mention the mental game as well. I think when you're playing this good, it gives you a lot of confidence as well going into later parts of the game, just knowing I'm nailing these tricks. So you have a little bit more confidence going into those more difficult tricks and the faster pace of the later game. Yeah, Poogle got a little bit trolled by the mini-boss, and so probably not the cycle she was looking for, but she is just at Bash Tree. She just has to collect 2 more keystones and then take an intentional death for that ghost door, as Fant now at the second mini-boss. Nice clean execution on the initial double jump sequence to get into a good spot, and he's going to be clearing that out, heading back to Moon Grotto in order to start his attempts at Swamp Entry. And you kind of see Oreo there on Fant's side just head bopping. You can tell that he's Fant's full of energy. He's really happy with his progress so far.
Yeah, absolutely, man. What a great performance so far from Fan. Poogle as well, just nailing lots of really difficult execution stuff. Oh, just barely slightly gliding out of that dash a little bit too quickly, but nice adaptation from Poogle in order to be able to bash off the Frankie in order to get up there. It can be so easy in these situations to come up with a backup strat that you are just not accustomed to. But Poogle is just making all of these backups just look so easy. And it's not that she's necessarily playing bad behind Fan, but Fan is just playing so well.
Yeah, he really is. And I would say, all things considered, with the death Poogle had earlier, I think she's doing a great race. So, oh, but yeah, as you saw there, Fant accidentally killing the frog, so he's gonna have to die, and he goes all the way back to the spirit well there.
Wow, that is so tough. Fan deciding not to do the blind movement and watch the cutscene, and then not placing a safety save down in time. Maybe he was hoping to try and get an extra closer safety save, and that sort of worked against him because he accidentally killed the frog. So Fan having to watch this cutscene again. This is exactly what Poogle needs in order to be able to get back into this race. But that being said, Fant now coming back in for another try at Swamp Entry and nailing that safety save this time. So he is going to be able to go. And yeah, look at this. The frog died, but with that safety save up, taking a death is going to place him right at the beginning of the trick again. So nice in-game decision-making from Fant to be able to have that quick second try.
Yeah, like you said, very clean execution on that safety save. And I almost wonder if it's one of those things. I talked about confidence a second ago. I wonder if it's almost he had so much confidence going into that, he said, I don't need to put down a safety save. I'm going to get this. But then kind of after that first death, taking a step back and be like, okay, yeah, like I shouldn't risk it. I should just put down a safety save. I probably have a lead with how good I'm playing and just don't want to waste it.
Yeah, and it looks like Fant able to get that third try Swamp Entry. So he's going to be the first to make it to Stomp Tree, but look at this. Poogle is now entering the cutscene, so she is very close behind. Yeah, look at that, and going for the blind movement as well into this. So if Poogle's able to get this trick first try, Fant took an unintentional death there and lost a good bit of time, but he's making it to Stomp Tree with a 19-minute time, and Poogle now is going to be doing her own attempts at Swamp Entry. Let's see what happens, Rufus.
Yeah, and if she's able to get this first try, it did take Fant 3 tries, and I think some of those tries were some more costly ones. But so if she's able to get this first try, she will be able to make up a lot of times. I think these are the time saves that she needs to be able to come back into this with the early lead she lost to that Magnaless Frankie death.
Yeah, and there we go. Nailing all of the really difficult bash angles and timings. Oh, that shot's really close to the frog, but luckily the bash is not autocorrect onto the frog, and she gets in there first try. Wow, that's exactly what she needed.
Yep, and we see a little high five from the players as Fant's coming out of that same part. He's going to grab his ability cell, and he's going to be moving on to Kuro cutscene skip. So we'll maybe see it here in a second. Yeah, there it is. His Kuro cutscene. Wow, getting really close to that laser, just probably close enough to feel the heat of it on his toes. But his Kuro cutscene skip is 100% success, so hopefully able to see another success from him here, as it's a trick that he excels at.
Yeah, looks good on the positioning, but oh no, maybe the bash or the positioning was actually slightly off. He's going to opt to watch this 18-second cutscene, so Fan taking this time loss, and even though he had 100% accuracy coming into this match, just a tiny slip up, but he is currently still ahead in ROP!
ROP indeed.
Yeah, but this is it, right? Well, like, we saw that Poogle statistics for the Kuro cutscene skip was actually 0% in her previous tournament matches, but being able to close 10 minutes on her PB coming into today, this could be it. If she nails that Kuro cutscene skip, that could be some distance that she's going to be able to make up on her opponent. We just saw her nail her Swamp Entry, and so if she can grab this, this is going to be really impressive.
Yeah, and I do think actually sometimes when players have like a 0% or something, those stats can be a little misleading because sometimes they just hadn't practiced it enough in their earlier races. But before this race, you never know if they just decided that, you know what, I've been missing this. This is easy time save for my races, so I'm just going to put a ton of time into practicing this. So I wouldn't be surprised if Poogle is able to nail this trick and catch up a little bit more time.
Yeah, here we go. Fan is going to be the first to make it to Sea Flame Tree, starting to save anywhere to be able to skip another cutscene, but the action is on the right. Poogle now going up for her attempt at Kuro cutscene skip. Is she going to get it? No, she does not. So she is also going to opt to watch the cutscene. And oh, the extra long drop there from both of our runners. Being able to watch a cutscene that we normally skip.
Yeah, both runners really interested in that the viewers are able to know that this game does have an antagonist.
Yeah, exactly, Rufus. And now Fant is going to be heading over and working his way to some of the more notorious skips. Oh, just barely missing some of those bashes on the bird to get into a good position, but able to make it up to the stomp egg and be able to make it through, as Poogle now is going to be heading to pick up the 5th energy cell with some clean bash movement. Really nice to see from.
Yeah, she's doing really well. I still think, even though she did miss the curl cutscene skip, it's not a huge deal since Fant also missed it. So I think for the most part, she's been doing great. On Fant's side here, he's going to be moving up to fast stopless. And this is another trick that I think he's struggled with a little bit so far in the tournament races. The way he deals with this, kind of early we talked about if he was using keyboard and mouse for the Ginzo mini boss, and that is something he uses. And here as well, he switches to KBM just for this bash at the top to be able to aim it. So 0% so far, but maybe he's with a little bit of confidence and momentum he has going into this. Oh, it hit the ceiling there. So hopefully he realizes that and goes back. Or maybe he's just thinking, he knows that the shot's not going to hit. He's just saying, you know what, cut my losses. I'll get the ability cell here and then just go up and stomp it after.
You know, this is a great race, and like a lot of people have been bringing up the great point that in this bracket phase, you don't need to get a PB. You just need to win the race. And so maybe Fant just deciding not to go for a fast stomp the second time, struggling a little bit with the spider. He took a bit of damage, but he's able to get back up there. And so now he's going to be watching the antagonist. This is all antagonist cutscene percent. And oh yeah, look at that instant replay in the bottom left, showing that struggle, but nicely done from Fant, being able to keep his composure and get up there without an unintentional death, without any safety saves around there, Rufus. That would have been a costly one at that. So nicely done that. Like Fant just being able to work through these really difficult sections as well. Both of our runners just having great adaptation so far in this race.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And now we have Poogle going up towards that same trick. So this is going to be, we got a Gra Pow on the left side, so showing that we really do have Kuro coming out at every possible point. But Poogle coming up here, this will be another area that will allow her to save some time. And if she's able to get this fast stomp first try, that would close the... Oh! Accidentally killing the bird as she was trying to bash off to get up to the higher part. So that's going to send her down, lose a little bit of time, but it's not as costly as like a death would be. But she's also been very careful in putting down her safety saves at all possible moments. On Fant's side, he's doing his rocket jump, and he's going to be going up towards Sorrow Bash. So both players really exciting tricks at this point.
Yeah, Fant going to be taking a safety save here, and then most likely going to take an intentional death to respawn them. Oh no, he's going for the 2 bird method. He did C-dash on the other bird, so he has to be a little bit careful of this bird dying if he C-dashes into it, which causes a lower bash angle. Oh, he bonks the bird on the wall, but nice safety save from Fant as Poogle nails fast stopless. So she is now right on Fant's tail and is going to be heading up to Sorrow Bash, like almost immediately. This race just got a lot closer with this.
It really did, and if she's able to do that Sorrow's Bash first try, then that will also catch up a little bit, a lot of time, sorry. And Fant here accidentally going past the ski stone, so he has to drop down to get it. Getting hit by a frog stone, so that takes him really low. And since he's only at 4 HP, anything here, getting hit by anything here in Sorrows will kill him. So I would not be surprised at all to see him put up a save right here at the top before going into the spikes section.
Yeah, I like this decision from Fant, right? This is a really great safety save. Without any other safety saves except for the one right before Sorrow Bash, it's very easy to take a death in these spikes. Each one of these spikes deals 4 damage, which is absolutely certain lethal damage. And now Poogle on the right, heading for her own Sorrow Bash attempts. Is going to be bashing the bird. Good angle there on the bash, and is going to get up there. So really nice execution from Poogle, and she is also in Sorrow. Both of our runners in the same area. This is just so exciting.
Yeah, and you see Poogle, as soon as she gets up here, she's like, no, I'm not redoing Sorrow's Bash. She puts down the safety save. She gets the 2 keystones she needs, redirects the frog shot, and is just going to glide up to safety since she spent that earlier energy on a safety save. Fant here doing a little bit of a longer save anywhere, but he's just comfortable with the kind of save anywhere movement here in this section. He's going to be going up to level up Quick Flame. Now he's going to take a death here on purpose. That's to break the top here earlier than you're supposed to. And he's going to float his way out of Sunstone. So good movement going into Sunstone by Fant, and good movement going into Charge Jump by Poogle.
Yeah, nicely done for both of our runners. This looks like Poogle's best Charge Jump time was at 27:44. That's over a 1 minute improvement from her other tournament matches. That practice is definitely paying off for Poogle. How exciting, as Fant now is going to be collecting Sunstone before leaving this super scary Sorrow area, because Happiness Pass is definitely not the happiest place to be in this speed.
No, it is not. It's one of those areas you want to get out of as fast as possible. Poogle there, deciding to come over here, just put her save down here instead of doing a longer save anywhere. She's going to start her save anywhere, go up, and do the same trick that you saw Fant do. And he is now on his descent. So kind of another high five by the players, but this time one will be in the save any square and one not. So you see them pass there. And Fant on his way down and into Misty.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting because this late game portion here, especially going into Misty, is going to have a lot of really insane tech and movement. And so it's going to come down to how many safety saves do our runners take? How many hiccups do they do in this execution? Nice safety save from Fant, makes it out of Sorrow. So if he takes a death there, he's only going to spawn at the entrance to Misty, where if he hadn't placed that safety save and took an intentional death, he would have headed all the way to where Poogle is right now at Sunstone. So nice little bit of extra safety as he's going for this rocket jump, nails it on the Frankie. And so now he is going to be making his way to Climb Tree, getting past some of the hardest sections or easiest sections to take a mistake that could be very, very costly.
Yeah, we got Poogle on the end. She's now dropping down through Sorrow, and she's going on her way. She does only have 4 life, so if she gets hit on by the spikes on the way out here, that could be costly. But Fant, I think, playing really well. The movement going very cleanly for him going in towards Climb. And I think it's one of those things to note about Fant is that his PB that he was really far ahead at the beginning of the game. His PB actually had a really clean late game and a little bit more of a sloppy early game. So I think at this point, after he's missed a couple things, hopefully he's not getting overzealous and he's just thinking, yeah. But as you saw there, accidentally dashing into the spikes. But he's able to get to Climb, get that save, and now he's safe.
Yeah, the upgraded dash, the charged dash actually is the homing attack, and he's still a little bit too close to the enemies. Poogle also now in Misty as well, nailing the rock jump with the Frankie as Fant now is going through. This section is very unforgiving and very easy to take deaths in. Nice, getting the bash off the Frankie, makes it over to that next keystone and placing the safety save immediately. And look at this, the value from the safety save from Fant, taking a death there but spawning there immediately instead of heading all the way back to Climb Tree. So he is going to be heading through. Really nice payoff here from spending that energy on saves instead of uncanceled charge dash from our runner.
Yeah, I think it's a very smart move by him. Poogle on the other end, got hit by the spikes, decided to put down a safety save immediately, rekindle that save. So she is at 3 health, which means if she does touch the spikes here, she will fall, but she has put a safety save not too far back, so she wouldn't lose as much time as she could. So, but she's playing it cleanly anyways. Burns a couple charge dashes there at the end, and now she's at Climb Tree. Fant on the other end, with this exciting movement, coming up towards the meatballs, and he decides just to charge jump up and climb up normally.
Yeah, nicely done from Fant. The execution looks good so far. Coming up to this mini boss though, getting a really fast cycle could be the difference of seconds, and taking an unintentional death here if you mess up too much. But Fant making quick work of it, gets a fast mini boss kill, gets the level up. Whereas Poogle taking a little bit of damage, no safety save yet, but yeah, there it is. Nice, in the same position that Fant made earlier. Nice decision making, only on 3 health. It's very easy to take a death in the upcoming sections. But that being said, also look at this. Poogle's experience is really, really high. She has to be careful not to take unintentional experience before the mini-boss. We usually like to level up at the mini-boss because that gets us a full refill on our energy heading towards Light Grenade Tree. But Fant, now making his way over, he has 1 more skill. His early game was so good, and he fell a little bit behind his PB in the mid-game. And so now it's all going to come down to his execution in the final areas and the final tricks to be able to close out a win for him in this bracket stage, Rufus. How exciting.
Yeah, no, he just has to play this last part a little more cleanly enough, and he'll be able to take that win. Poogle on the other side, really playing with my heart as she keeps taking hits by the spikes, immediately putting down a safety save. But each time it's just scary that when you see her drop down to 1 health, if she does have her UI on and not knowing what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, for sure. And oh, there's an unintentional death from Poogle, but the rekindle on the safety save is going to cause her to not lose as much time. Nice mitigation of time loss to spend that energy on the saves. And oh no, another death in the meatball corridor is not what Poogle was hoping for there. But now Fan is going to be making it to Light Grenade Tree first. This is a really great pace. If he can just keep this up, having a little bit trouble setting up his save anywhere to get into the trigger. Yep, he gets across and is going to be able to skip that cutscene.
Yeah, and you see this time Poogle deciding to cut the crap and just put down an extra safety save so that the meatballs can't kill her. But after she does that, she takes another hit. So, almost having to avoid the experience there, so she wouldn't get the level up before the boss, like you said. Putting down a save before going in, deciding can't play too safe. Bringing in a Frankie, so having a little bit of a friend in there, but going for kind of killing the mini boss one at a time. So, good fight by her.
Yeah, nice flavor from Poogle. I know I've seen her do that in her previous matches, so that's just really great to see. I love that. Like, at the end of the day, like, this is a tournament, right? So it's competition, but also just, like, having some fun with some really cool stuff as well is always fun to see. And Fan making it through the double lasers 2 times, having to go in and then coming on his way out. And let's see, Fan is going to be coming over here and grabbing Hellcell. Nice charge jump there off the wall to be able to make it up really quickly before he heads to Thornfeld Swamp. And we're going to see if Fan opts to be taking that 6th health cell. He definitely has a pretty comfortable lead heading into the final escape. Barring some major spaghetti or catastrophe, Fan definitely should be taking the win here. So we'll see what he opts to do for some extra safety in this situation.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I think, one of the cool things about running Ori in this tournament setting is going in at this point, if you know the lead you have, you can really decide to change your decisions and play it just extra safe. As you see him here, he's picking up the 6th health cell, knowing that, you know, he doesn't want to have to mess with the chance of dying to the swim. And then similarly, with Door Warp, to know you have a little bit more comfortable of a time, a little bit more room to be able to make a couple mistakes there, since it is impossible to be inconsistent by a human. And then going into Grenade Jump, knowing that he doesn't actually have to opt to go for it, but we'll see if he decides to or not.
Yeah, ooh, Poogle with the death on the laser. She dashed up against sort of the wall where the laser comes out of, and that can cause you to get locked for a few split seconds. And so just taking a death there and having to do this section again, this is just further padding Fan's lead by very, very slightly, but able to make it through. And she is going to be heading up to Light Grenade as Fan going for a 1-frame trick here and nails it first try. Nicely done.
Yeah, awesome job by him. So now all he has to worry about is this escape. Poogle on the other end, getting down her save anywhere, and she's going to be picking up Light Grenade and then making her way towards Mount Horus. So just to be careful, even though I mentioned that Fan picked up that 6 health, any damage he takes here, besides the poison water, will still result in him having to redo the escape. So he's going to have to be careful here, but other than that, see if he can have the clean execution he needs.
Yeah, as long as Fan doesn't take too many intentional deaths, he does have room to make a few mistakes here and start the final escape over. But so far, so good, Rufus. As he's coming down here, he just has to get past this elemental and some fire in order to make it to the poison swimming section. Nice, he gets past the elemental, and now is the poison swimming section where he has 6 health, so this is going to be a lot more forgiving. Bashes off the first fish, gets off the second, is going to get out and do his attempts at grenade jump.
Yep. So he makes his way up the wall here. 20% chance success on grenade jump, but he has more than a few attempts to be able to do it, so he should be able to do it. He positions up against the wall, starts up his charge up, and first try, gets it no problem. Fan on a roll.
Yeah, nicely done. GG from Fan. He's going to be walking away with a victory today. And this is going to give him some nice momentum heading through into his further bracket stage matches, as Poogle now is going to be heading towards Mount Horus herself.
Yep. So you'll see a lot of that same movement. She decided to pull that or to push that rock in a little earlier, so she's going to have to jump over it. No real time difference there. But you see a rocket jump out of her. She's making her way. Going to pick up this energy here, which will allow her to do some more charge jumps. Decides to opt for a save, wanting to really play it safe at this point of the game. So great job by Poogle.
Yeah, GG, and it looks like the official time for Fan is going to be a 36:01. Well played from our runner, who's going to be walking away with the victory. But the run isn't over yet, because Poogle now has to do her own attempts at Door Warp. as well as making it through the final escape. But nicely done, picking up 6 HP for that extra safety in the poison swimming section. Really nicely done as she heads towards the Horu entrance.
Yeah, burning a bunch of charge ashes there. She's going to be able to refill that energy before she starts to escape. So here we have Dorwart from Poogle, and what do you think it's going to be, Covert Muffin?
Let's go first try. Poogle has been nailing a lot of these hard tricks throughout the run, and I fully expect her to be able to do this. And it looks like her success rate in the other tournament matches was 44.4, and bringing up average with the first try. We're in there, Poogle.
Deciding to go up the left here to get up there makes that charge jump a little easier. And having a little bit of a trouble, Sign not wanting to perform warmth, but...
Yeah, I don't want to save the forest. I think it's a sign. Oh my goodness. Yeah, but here we go. It looks like Poogle now is going to be starting the final escape. As Rufus had mentioned earlier, you can't take any damage going through this initial part. You have to make it to the poison swimming section with full health. And yeah, that's right. Everything red on your screen is super spooky, especially that falling molten rock and that column of flame and stuff. But Poogle, recognizing that, is just going to wait with some nice feathering so she doesn't have to activate another bash. And so Poogle's best race time actually in the tournament is a 41:17. So even though she's outside of PB range, she could drastically improve that time. And that is so exciting to see.
Yeah, and it looks like that is what she is wanting to do right now. Not slowing down at all. She goes through the swimming portion, gets out, no problem. She had more than enough health to do that. Climbs up this left side, going to do one more charge, and bash off this rock, gets situated on the same log. And now she sets up her 100% chance, not quite getting it that first try, but that's fine because she has enough energy that she can go ahead and do another attempt. This time she's going to be a little more careful to set it up. Oh! Stomping down, respawning these rocks here, and here they go, see if she can get on this second try.
Oh, not quite, but she's heading back for more. Come on, Poogle, you can do this. And gets it third try.
There it is.
GG from Poogle. It looks like she's going to be walking away with a low 39. That is going to be more than a 2-minute improvement from her previous best race time. Just so impressive to see a lot of the newer runners come out and join the Ori community and then be able to put on shows like this, Rufus. What a treat.
Yeah, no, I think it really is awesome, and I think she's got to be proud of that time that she's able to put in, coming into this tournament and being able to improve as much as she did up until this point, where she's putting in good race times and I think just performing really well. So gonna get a low 39 here. We'll see in a second what the exact time is, but GG to both players on their races.
Yeah, for sure. And so Fan's going to be walking away with the win here. So that means that he's going to be advancing in the lower bracket. And Poogle, unfortunately, not quite clinching out a first place finish here in this 1v1 race with a final time of 39.08. But still a great performance. And unfortunately, because this was a lower bracket match, this means that Poogle is going to be eliminated from the tournament. But I'm so excited to see her continue to perform and improve in Ori and the Blind Forest. We've seen just like so many insane things so far, and I believe she's also picking up other categories, so I cannot wait. But it looks like both of our runners are here, and it looks like we're going to be bringing them in for an interview momentarily.
Awesome. So here we have Fan and Poogle. GG, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job on that win, Fan. How did you feel after that race?
My hands are still shaking from the previous race, and it happened like all the way through this race as well, coupled with tournament nerves. So it was pretty rough. Honestly not feeling too great, even though I won.
Feel better, Jesus.
Oh, yeah. Nerves are so tough, man. So like, talk about this a bit. Do you just get like general like race sort of nerves and such? And because of that, do you end up just not watching the restream or your opponent? Or...
Oh no, I always watch my opponent because that
really? Wow.
that drastically affects how I play.
Okay.
Like for sure, you know, I've like watched Poogle's previous runs, previous races, and all that. So I do like basically what I needed to do to stay ahead, and I'd adjust it for more safety depending on what my current lead was.
Wow, that's interesting. That's an interesting strat to like remove a lot of sort of those roadblocks, especially in the later game. Just having that wiggle room to place extra safety saves if you're ahead, or go for riskier things if you're behind. That's really exciting to see. How about you, Poogle? Were you ended up watching your opponent as well?
I only have a single monitor, so I can't.
Oh, interesting.
No, I wouldn't if I could though, because I'd rather not, personally.
Yeah, and I think that's perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
So with that race, Fant, you had an amazing early game, and then Poogle, I thought you were able to catch up a lot of time going into that mid game.
Oh my fucking god!
No, going into the mid game, going into Stomp and towards Fast Stompless, there was a couple tricks that Fant struggled with a couple of times, but you were able to catch up a lot of time there. So maybe kind of going over your mindset going into that after that great early game, Fant, would you maybe talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, early game, I was pretty pleased with how it turned out. And I was watching the stream. I know, like, Poogle goes for 8 or not HP, skips the 4th health cell or so. And I was finishing my wall jump not too far behind that. I think it was like 2 or 3 seconds, if I remember correctly. So I was like, okay, I'm really happy with this wall jump. BRB could have been a little better. Nothing too crazy happened. I intentionally skipped the death glide. I do that when I'm nervous because just when your hands are shaking, you try to do like inputs right, just leads to death.
Yeah.
And then the big morale boost for me was when I got the early grotto cycle. It's like,
Yeah,
okay.
Dude, you got grotto cycle. That's awesome.
Yeah, so I think it was in my PB, so it wasn't a time save over the
That's
PB.
fantastic,
But
though.
yeah, so after that, like I had a little bit of a lead, and that's when nerves started to calm down a little bit. It's like, okay, I can take this a little bit safer. But I was using like my personal mindset. I was pretty close to PB pace or ahead of PB pace. I don't know. I didn't have my time up. I know had a pretty solid Intergenso time, and I was going to continue doing everything I normally did until the PB became unreasonable. That was swamp entry. It's like, okay, from here on out, I'm just taking it safe.
That's
Yeah,
totally
and
fair,
that was
man.
noticeable. But GG, you did really great. And Poogle, I think that was a best race time for you. So GG on that. How do you feel with how you've improved throughout the tournament?
I died exactly where I thought I would die. I died to Frankie Walk because I was previously adjusting for a broken controller.
Oh yeah, that does make it really tough.
Because that's how I knew that my controller was seriously Borg's last race, because I couldn't jump up the wall. So this time, when I couldn't jump up the wall because I was adjusting for a broken controller, that's why I messed up Rocky Walk.
Wow, that's so tricky to deal with. So going sort of off of that question, Poogle, were there certain sections in the run that worried you having to work with this new controller? That has,
Any
like,
form of wall jumping.
Wow.
Any form of like double jumping up walls, because I was having to readjust for like the Borg's controller.
Right, for sure. All right, Rufus, any final questions for our runners before we end up closing out?
Yeah, I just wanted to bring up one more thing. So at the beginning of the race, Fant, Covert Muffin has this coin that he flips. And when he
What coin is it?
I don't know. Maybe it's got some Ori and some stuff like that on it. Covert Muffin flips it, and it predicted that Poogle would win. But you, as one of the people behind the creation of the coin, have you somehow...
Oh yeah, the powers of the coin do not affect me.
Wait, Muffin
Because I made the coin.
What is wrong with that?
I mean, I didn't think anything. I let the coin decide the fate of this match, and
Yeah, no, it doesn't work on me or Richard. Sorry. In fact, it works against our opponents.
Wow.
I'm not surprised.
Wow, I don't know.
You think the controller breaking in the last race was an accident? Oh boy.
Oh, wow.
Sorry,
I don't know
Poogle.
if that makes it a dual system
No,
run,
no,
but
I can see
need
it.
to ban you from the tournament then. Uh-oh. Monka.
Either way, GG to both players. You guys are great.
Thank you.
Yeah. Congrats, guys. What a great performance and what a great run, guys. This is going to do it for us, but Ori is not over tonight at 1 a.m. over on twitch.tv/speedgaming. Will be another Ori match, and that is going to be Vua versus Chicken. Definitely tune in for that. But upcoming on Speed Gaming 2 in about like 10 minutes or so is going to be a Zelda 1 randomizer. But from all of us here, from the Ori community, we wish you a good night and look forward to some more exciting matches. Good night, guys. damage as they head through. So, ooh, nice job. And wow, Yoko. Oh,
No.
my goodness.
Oh no, Yoko. Oh my goodness. Please be careful.
He hasn't taken any like really bad deaths as result, but
Oh no.
Why did I say that? Why did I say that?
Yeah, true Shay. And so we're going to see what Didu decides to do. Nice safety save there. And wow, the value from the safety save.
The trick itself requires precisely positioning a frog and managing your XP, but because that can happen, because that froggy has a chair and it can stomp it right on your tiny little head.
Oh god, Milton, get out of there!
Holy crap, the recovery from that.
Like, it's deceptive. Ooh, deceptively difficult. Rufus.
Holy
so close.
crap,
Oh.
Rufus.
Oh.
Oh god.
Exit.
And what is happening now?
I don't know.
Oh,
Monkey's shot going through.
Oh, he's missed the double bash though. He's gotta go back up. Monkey's shots are facing the floor. I hope he does not get that on the upper one. Cheese has broken his swamp.
Oh, Monkey getting hit by the shot.
Metal that Terra did. Oh, missing that, but he's got the backup. That's okay. Oh my gosh.
Oh, God.
Terra. Oh my gosh. Okay, try again. This time you can get to the platform.
What you've seen from runners like Lucidus, Uncle Ronnie, and Eviona so far in the tournament, and oh wow!
Damn.
I do not know how he survived.
Both runners getting that 5th.
Oh, Randomson had a really... Wow, what a nice backup, though. Randomson had trouble with the first spider shot, but now it's basically tied.
Go stomp the rocks. And oh,
Fluffy, what
I didn't know you could do that.
Oh,
Can you really just keep moving and skip that cutscene?
Oh god, Hori's in the air! Hello!
Oh no, oh Frankie. Frankie, please go away. Oh, that is so painful.
Oh, this is a party. Luckily, he does have a sickness.
Yeah, mini boss not quite going according to plan. Melvin's gonna go with the stomp spam. Keep that frog away. Get out of here. Don't hit me with your chair. He says he gets through it okay, and we'll be just finishing up Misty.
The section is really difficult with the 5 health. Alright, he gets the bash off of the fish. So yeah, he gets through, but upcoming here is...
He's gone crow!
Oh, he died! Death! Richard is in the lead. No, they're tied. Richard just died as well.
What?
This is literally synced in the final escape, guys. Unbelievable.
They both stopped the thing together. Okay.
Each one of those grenades costs 1. He's got 1 left. That's enough for 2 grenade jump attempts. If he keeps missing in that particular way, he's got 1 chance left.
1 more.
And he gets it. The
First try, and well, not first try, but you know what? First try.
We'll call it first try.